This one AI workflow saved a single homeowner $3,800 in property taxes in under 20 minutes of actual work. If you are tired of hearing about $5 AI side hustles that involve making coloring books or low-quality blog posts, listen closely. We are moving into high-ticket territory. While everyone else is fighting for crumbs in the creator economy, billions of dollars are overcollected by county assessors every single year. Research shows that between 30 and 60% of homes in the United States are overassessed. This means millions of people are paying for the government's math errors. Most homeowners know they are being overcharged, but they never appeal because the process is a nightmare of paperwork, deadlines, and data analysis. That is where you come in. You aren't a real estate agent, and you aren't a lawyer. You are a data consultant using a specific AI workflow to automate the property tax appeal process. Most people who try to enter the real estate niche make the same mistake. They try to sell leads to realtors or write property descriptions for Zillow. That market is saturated, low margin, and frankly boring. The real money isn't solving a direct, painful financial problem where the ROI for the client is undeniable. When you tell a homeowner you can potentially put $2,000 back in their pocket and you only get paid if you succeed, the yes is automatic. This is the ultimate no-risk offer. The actual method is broken down into 3 distinct phases: identification, analysis, and the evidence package. You don't need a massive team for this. You need a Claude 3.5 Sonnet account, access to public records, and a basic understanding of how to prompt for logical inconsistencies. Phase 1 is identification. You aren't going to cold call random houses. You are looking for the assessed value gap. Every county has a public portal where you can see the assessed value of a property. Your goal is to find properties where the assessed value has jumped significantly while the actual market value has plateaued, or where the house is valued higher than identical homes on the same street. You can use a simple Python script or even a specialized GPT to scrape local property data from these public portals. Look for the outliers. If every house on a block is assessed at $400,000, but one is at $480,000, despite having the same square footage, you found your first client. Phase 2 is the analysis. This is where most people fail because they try to argue with the county based on fairness or the economy. The county does not care about your feelings. They care about comps or comparables. In the old days, you had to manually hunt through tax records to find 3 to 5 similar properties that were sold or assessed at a lower rate. Now you feed the property's data, square footage, lot size, year built, and condition, into an AI model alongside a list of recent neighborhood sales. You ask the AI to identify the best 5 comps for a tax appeal. You want the AI to look for negative adjustments. For example, if the target house is next to a noisy highway, but the comp the county used is in a quiet cul-de-sac, that is a valid reason for a value reduction. If the target house has an original 1980s kitchen, but the comp has been fully renovated, that is another 5 to 10% reduction in value. You use Claude to analyze the property photos from the last listing and compare them to the neighbors. The AI can spot these discrepancies in seconds, whereas a human would take hours to flip through PDFs. Phase 3 is the evidence package. This is the most critical part. Every county has a specific form for a request for review or a Board of Equalization appeal. You aren't just going to fill out the form. You are going to attach an AI-generated property valuation report. This report will clearly list the subject property, the selected comps, and a detailed table of adjustments. You tell the AI to write a professional, clinical, and data-driven cover letter. It should say, based on a comparative market analysis of 5 properties within a 0.5-mile radius, the subject property is overassessed by 12% due to differences in interior finish grade and proximity to commercial zoning. It sounds official because it is based on real data. The proof is in the success rate. I've seen this workflow take a property from an assessment of $500,000 down to $440,000. At a 2% tax rate, that's a $1,200 annual saving for the homeowner. And here's the kicker. Property taxes are recurring. That saving often sticks for several years. Now let's talk about the money. How do you actually turn this into an income stream? There are 2 ways to price this, and one is vastly superior. The first way is a flat fee. You charge $500 to prepare the evidence package. It's clean, it's fast, and you're done. But the AI Income Lab way, the way that actually builds wealth, is the success fee model. You offer to do the work for free up front. If you win the appeal and save the homeowner $2,000, you take 50% of that first year savings. $1,000 for 20 minutes of AI-assisted work. If you don't save the money, they pay nothing. This makes your service impossible to refuse.
To start today, you don't need a fancy website. You need to go to your county's assessor website and download the Assessed Value Notice Schedule. There is usually a 30 to 60-day window each year when appeals are accepted. That is your harvest season. You can find your leads by looking for recent assessment increases in the public record. Send a highly specific letter or an email to these homeowners. Don't be vague. Say, I noticed your property at 123 Main Street was recently reassessed at a 9% increase. Based on my data analysis of the 3 houses sold on your block last month, you are likely being overcharged by approximately $1,500 per year. I specialize in property tax evidence packages, and I only get paid if I successfully lower your bill. The biggest hurdle you will face is your own hesitation. You might think you need to be a certified appraiser. In most jurisdictions, a homeowner has the right to represent themselves or designate an agent to submit paperwork on their behalf. You are acting as their data consultant and document preparer. Always check your local state laws, but in the vast majority of cases, providing a data-driven report for a homeowner to submit is perfectly legal. Stop wasting time on AI tools that are cool but don't solve a problem. Midjourney is fun, but it doesn't pay the mortgage. This workflow solves a high-stakes, high-value problem using data that is publicly available but too complex for the average person to handle. The county is counting on homeowners being too lazy or too confused to fight back. You are using AI to bridge that gap. If you want to scale this, you can move from residential to commercial properties. That is where the 5-figure checks live. A small strip mall being overassessed by $200,000 results in a massive tax bill. The workflow is exactly the same, just with more zeros. If you're ready to actually use AI to generate a professional income, stop looking for the next viral tool and start looking for the next overassessed neighborhood. The data is sitting there on a government server right now, waiting for you to turn it into a check. Go find a county portal, run a few comps through Claude, and see the gap for yourself. Then send the first letter. That is how you start.